Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. This is pretty epic, and I've just spent a lot of time, ridiculous amount of time, getting ready for this review. So, for those of you who are, master replicas fans, or even Star Wars fans, this piece needs no introduction. This is the Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu signature edition lightsaber. It's a limited edition of 750. And there's a lot to unpack here, but we're going to go through this nice and slow with the attention befitting it. But let's start with this amazing shot of the lightsaber in its display cabinet. It shows almost the entire thing. I could zoom back just a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. So if we just zoom back just a little bit, this is 0.7x magnification. You're going to be able to see it in all its glory. There are not that many YouTube videos of this piece out there. Very, very few. A lot of them are like the Force FX versions. The kind of the toy ones where you can light up the blade. There might be like a limited edition one out there, but in terms of the signature edition, I think there's only, I want to say there's only two. No, there's 3 others, like ever, okay, out there. One is by a collector in Canada. His name is Alex L, and he has a pretty amazing, actually, Master Replicas lightsaber collection. I mean, there's better, but his is pretty darn good, okay? And so he has a signature edition unboxing video. And I've watched that unboxing video a whole bunch of times. It's pretty cool, it's pretty awesome. The problem with him is that his quality, like the phone he used, maybe just because it was a while back or whatever, but it's not super good. And also the lighting is pretty poor. And so when he's sort of doing his thing, it's really hard to get a good shot, right, at all of the detail. Another problem is his is an unboxing video. So, I don't do unboxing videos for a variety of reasons. I think I might have mentioned this, but mainly because I'm not a very emotive person. And so, my reactions aren't super fun to see. And it just takes a long time to take it. And I also, because when you're unboxing, you have to show the unboxing, right? That's the whole point of it. And so in terms of the angle of the camera, it has to be further back enough to actually show me and the box, and then me with my razor blade or whatever and opening it up. And I've personally never felt that to be particularly interesting, just mainly because, okay, you open it up, and then on top of that, because of the angle that's necessary and the fact that you have to show the whole box, you don't get any detail at all as you're opening it. And then you have to readjust, and then you have to get closer in. So I've never loved the idea of that. And then finally, there's a part of me that's kind of like superstitious, and I don't like opening something for the first time. It's sort of like a control issue. I don't like opening something and I don't even know what's going on and what's going to be, in the inside of that box, if something's broken or not. And for Alex, that kind of happened because that Mace Windu signature edition lightsaber is like, kind of like his holy grail. He really has a, emotional connection to the character in that lightsaber. And he was like really excited to open it. And then when he opened it, the acrylic display case came in damaged. Like, I think in 2 places at least, that acrylic was snapped off. And to add insult to injury, it didn't even look like it was necessarily damaged in shipping, because there were missing pieces, and there weren't any pieces in the box, which meant that obviously this was damaged when it was packed. And so it was kind of a downer because obviously, I could tell that, I mean, anybody could tell watching that video that he was absolutely just, heartbroken. I mean, he was pretty upset because, I mean, number one, you paid so much money for it, for that to have a broken display acrylic case is just, like he said, is unacceptable. And I mean, it was still cool because the lightsaber in the mirror base was amazing, but to have a broken case, that was tough, and I did not want that to happen. So that's one of the Mace Windu signature editions. But again, it suffers from being kind of awkward angle, right? And the quality was just kind of weird. Like, it's not very good. It was very blurry sometimes, and it was dark. And I just had a really, really hard time kind of catching some of the detail, catching some of the stuff. And so again, I mean, it's not easy, and we'll see how I do. But that's video number one. And then video number two was made by another guy. I forgot his name. He basically has no channel. I think he made like 3 videos or something like that. He has like 4 or 5 subscribers. And one of the videos he made was a unboxing of his Mace Windu signature edition. And this was like a long time ago. I think maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. It was a long, long time ago. And his was special though in the sense that he had a little bit better camera work. But again, problem is you're trying to show unboxing, so then it's going to be blurry, it's going to be awkward, you're moving the camera, or the camera's fixed and you're moving back and forth as you're opening the box. But his was special because that Mace Windu was actually sealed in box, never been opened, never been displayed. He scored one also local, so he didn't have to even worry about shipping. I mean, that's actually like the holy grail, right? Like, that's amazing. For any signature edition lightsaber enthusiast, for you to be able to get one of those bad boys not even opened is insane. And since it was 7 or 8 years ago, he probably got a really good price for it. I wouldn't doubt it was only about maybe $1,000 US, maybe a little bit more than that, versus how much these things are going for today, which is just insane. But that was a nice one. And there, it showed it a little bit better, but even so, 7, 8-year-old camera phone, kind of blurry, wasn't the best, right? But he was pretty happy because obviously it was perfect. I mean, like I said, nothing had even been, like the signature plaque wasn't even affixed to the little stand yet. So that's number 2, right? And then the third is from a guy, I don't think he's in the country. I think he's in Singapore. He's in Asia. I forget exactly what country it's in. And that one, he was just comparing like a Master Replica signature edition Mace with like I think a Force FX and a NeoPixel, saber, and just kind of comparing the handles. And that was very kind of low rent. I mean, he was just comparing the 3 sabers, and he certainly didn't look like he was treating the sabers very well in terms of like he was just holding them and putting it down, no gloves, and just sort of. Back then, maybe the appreciation for how rare and valuable this wasn't really there. But because his was like the same angle as mine, right? You were able to see a lot more kind of close up of what things look like. So that's it. Those are the only 3 Mace Windu Signature Edition Master Replicas, whatever YouTube videos out there. And so mine is going to be the 4th and the most recent. So again, I hope to be able to add something to the mix and, sort of show you a bit more up close and show you things that maybe the other videos, haven't been able to do, so you can enjoy as well. So first of all, where to start? So I started with that preamble to show you, like, again, how rare this thing is, that over like the past however many decade or decade and a half, that there's only been like 3 videos and none of them really optimal. And now I usually have a background, right, behind it. And I don't have it because if I put a background, this display case is like polished to such a like mirror sheen that it actually acts like a mirror. And then it would be really distracting to see like me in my, like my undershirt and the camera, it would just be sort of dumb. And so apparently without the black background, you can at least appreciate the acrylic case without, having that distraction. Honestly, this acrylic case is polished so finely, it almost is like a mirror, right? And for those of you who are really, really careful and you want to really zoom in, you can probably still see a little bit of that mirror effect. But it's less obvious without that background. So I'm just gonna have it like this. And then once I take the acrylic display case off, then I will put the black background. You're gonna be able to enjoy the saber a lot more. So in terms of where I got this, I did actually get this fair and square on eBay and on auction. So that was like a pretty ridiculously like stressful auction. Before then, there were other signature edition Maces out there, but all not really perfect. There was one that's been on there for quite a while, and he had it for like 4,500 or buy it now. And his lightsaber looked really, really good. Like that one looked like it was in like tip-top maintained condition. Like that was probably the best looking one I'd seen and to be honest, like all of the different auctions, because you'll notice that for not just the Mace saber, but for almost like I think every Master Replica saber, if you go close enough, like with a magnifying glass, you're gonna see little imperfections. There's gonna be smudges, maybe little fingerprints, maybe very fine scratches, almost invisible. There's gonna be that in the acrylic case, in the mirror base, in the lightsaber itself, in the plating, all of this stuff. And a lot of it sometimes just like, it may even have come like that from Master Replicas. Like, unless you're lucky like that guy, who opened a mint in box, completely sealed original, it's almost impossible not to have some of that. And that $4,500 Mace Windu, honestly, when I looked at the pictures, and maybe it's just the way he shot them, it really looked really good. Like I didn't see any type of smudge or whatever. So that was pretty awesome. But the asking price was astronomical. Not unreasonable. I mean, I know that maces of a certain type have gone for 45, 48, 5,000 almost. The problem with that auction though was that he had the certificate of authenticity, but he had he had everything like this, but he did not have like the original packing material. So no brown shipper or whatever, anything like that. I mean, I think he has the case where the lightsaber goes, but he didn't have the brown shipper, and that really hurts the value quite a bit, in my opinion. So I really wasn't thrilled with that. Not to mention, he said that the lowest he was going to go would maybe be like in the $4,000 range, like $4,150 was what he quoted. And so I was not super enthusiastic about that, but he's from the United States. Interestingly enough, he just sold it for $4,000 on eBay. I checked, and that was like, I guess, an accommodation he had come to with a buyer. He listed at $4,000. So that's pretty good price. Then there was a second Master Rep, Mace Windu signature edition that I was really close to buying. He was like a really nice guy. I'm still sort of in touch with him, and he's from the UK. And his lightsaber is a little bit similar to this, which is like, it's really good condition. I would say like, A- or near mint. But if you look really closely, especially in this area here with the plating here, there are like, you can see little tiny imperfections. And I'll show you on mine. It's like almost like a little tiny touch of a smudge here or there. Very, very light, almost inconsequential, but like it's there. And for him, the big killer was that he did not have the paperwork. He didn't have the certificate of authenticity. And apparently when he bought it from a distributor, somehow, he never got it. Like Master Replicas screwed up and he never got the paperwork. And despite his best efforts in trying to get it, he never got it. So that's kind of a big problem, obviously. And then on top of that, he has the box where the saber comes in, but he does not have the shipper. So he doesn't have the brown shipper for the acrylic case or the mirror base or any of that. So that was problematic, but his price was a lot better. I mean, he was willing to negotiate all the way down to, I think, below even 3,000 shipped, and he was willing to ship it in a custom, like custom packing. Which, by the way, if you don't have the original packaging, that's going to be a big box, man. To properly protect this guy and it's not, it's not trivial. Okay, but he was willing to pay for all of that and ship it from the UK to the United States for a smidge under 3,000 US dollars, which again is a really, really good deal when you consider how like these things are supposedly, or in the past, have gone for like 4 to 5K. So I was almost about to like close the deal with that guy when a auction for like a complete inbox, Mace Windu popped up on eBay. And it popped up from this, not even from like a, collectible store, not from a private collector. It popped up and being sold from all people or whatever, like this place called like Neat Stuff Collectibles or whatever. It's based in New York, and they typically, if you look at their auctions, they sell basically like huge lots, like thousands, tens of thousands of like used comic books. And occasionally they will also like come across some other collectibles and stuff like that. Like their model is that they just buy everything and anything. And they came across like a really big batch of Master Replicas stuff. And it showed up, and honestly, their lightsabers had a lot of range. It ranged from like an Anakin signature edition lightsaber from Attack of the Clones that looked like it was literally brand new in box, like never opened, never touched, like amazing, right? To some of the travesties. Like there was one of I think the worst has to be the most heartbreaking was a Count Dooku signature, which like literally had the rubber peeled off. If you look closely, it was just dirty. There was scratched all over the place. It was like a nightmare. And they had an Empire Strikes Back Luke signature edition, which is like normally very, very sought after, but the rubber grips were like completely dissolving, falling apart. There was a lot of bad scratches on the like aluminum or whatever, the metal. So it really ranged, and that kind of scared me because I was like, are these from like the same collector, or are they just like getting it from different people, or what's going on, right? Because they put up like 8 or 9 lightsabers all at the same time. And Mace was one of them. And I looked at the pictures, and it was really tough because on the pictures, you just couldn't quite tell, right? There's only so much that a picture can tell you. I definitely knew that it had everything, so that was good. It was complete in box, had all the box and paperwork and everything like that. But the quality of the lightsaber, I couldn't tell. Like they described it as near mint, and I didn't know whether to trust that or not. But it looked okay. Like it looked on the pictures okay. I mean, there were some areas where I could definitely see smudges. For instance, in the plate right there, I'll show you later, there's some smudges, but nothing that really made me feel like, okay, it's like really horrible. So, I decided to go for it. I used the sniping program. I put in what I felt was the, maximum offer I felt was reasonable. And, I actually won it. And as it turned out, I guess not that funny, but sort of funnily, I was like bidding against another guy from the rebelscum.com forums. And these are, big Master Replica and Star Wars collectible guys. I didn't know him, but he has a good reputation. But I was like basically bidding against him. The two of us were fighting over this guy, and I happened to win it. And at first I thought that the price was like, it didn't thrill me. It was really expensive, but it was like $3,100 was the winning bid that I finally got it. But there wasn't any show bidding. There wasn't any bullshit like sometimes there are with eBay. Like, I asked that other guy later, and he was like, yeah, he went up to like $2,900. So it was pretty darn close. But the thing that really hurt is that I actually got hit by tax. Like I didn't know that eBay did that, but I guess between New York, where this company is based, in California, where I live, like you can't escape the tax, man. And they added like another $200 for tax, which was pretty darn annoying. But you're like, hey, you know what? You're in this deep. You like, why? Fine, whatever. Might as well go for it. I think actually, there was a couple of auctions that this company did. They had to relist because I bet the winners backed out because they did not want to pay that tax, because that was like, tax is like almost 10%, right? Whether you're in Cali or New York, it's like significant tax. And there was obviously some sort of, problem. They didn't want to do it. So I guess then I'll go on with my saga, because after getting it, their communication literally wasn't the best. I was trying to ask him like, how are you going to ship it? Are you going to do like, UPS or FedEx? Could you make it 2 day, 3 day? And he didn't, like, their representative wasn't very whatever. They just said, oh yeah, sure. So basically I was just like, F it, screw it. So I paid, through eBay. I got, eBay protection. They really protect the buyer. So I was like, fine, go for it. And these bastards like sent it. Okay, first of all, they sent it UPS, which is like, okay, at least they did that. But for like a 3,000 plus, like 3,300 including tax, like for a $3,300 collectible, those bastards sent it UPS ground. I mean, they didn't even have the courtesy. And it's not like this box is like, a huge statue box, right? This box is like literally, very reasonably sized box. They basically didn't even have the courtesy to send it UPS like 3 day or 2 or 3 day or priority, which would have gotten here in literally like, 3 days. So I had to basically sit for the better part of a week. And remember, I have no idea who this company is. They definitely don't sell high-end collectibles routinely, right? They're mainly comic book. And I had to wait, honestly, like a week. Like, I think I paid for it on a Sunday, and they sent me the tracking, but it didn't get to the, UPS office until like, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. So anyways, bottom line is, I paid for it on a Sunday and I didn't get it until the following Monday. And even worse, the local UPS office did not update the tracking. And so it looked like it was just sitting in the local, UPS office for the entire day. And I thought that there was something going on. Like at that point, all sorts of dark fantasies are starting to like, cross your mind. Like, is one of the UPS employees going to steal it? Is this in double box? I didn't even know what they were, there's like literally no communication with this company. They don't show you pictures of how they box it, like nothing. This is nothing like buying from another respected collector. And so there's also I was just freaking out. And, I was sharing my agony with some of my other, fellow collectors on the Rebel Scum, master replica lightsaber enthusiasts. One of them is the guy I beat out for the Mace Windu. He's gonna source me a Dooku signature. But I was texting him, I was messaging the other guy that I got the Vader dual signature. He's become sort of like an internet friend because of this shared passion. And they're both just trying to prop me up, and really like a lot of like appreciation for those two guys. They know who they are. Like I was just like thinking, oh my god, this is like $3,000, right? Ridiculous amount of money. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this sitting in the UPS, warehouse? It looks like they weren't going to deliver it on Monday even. I was like super pissed. And out of nowhere, at around 6 o'clock, I'm just checking my phone, and it updates. It says it got delivered. It went from like processing in the warehouse to delivered. Like normally, like it will go through like on the truck out for delivery. It never did that, which is why I didn't expect it to be delivered. So then I really freaked out. I was actually out of the house when I found out on my phone. I was like running errands. And so I actually called home to, make sure that they brought it in. And so they did. And I came home, and then, the other friend, the guy that I'm getting the Dooku from, who again, he was bidding against me for this. He said, hey, send me some pictures, man. Like, let's go through this together. So I sent him like all the pictures as I was slowly unpacking. And, finally it came in, and it was in great condition. Like, I was pretty unhappy with this company for sending it out like ground and not having the best communication. But in fairness to them, they did repackage this lightsaber. They repackaged it like essentially perfect, almost as if it came from Master Replica itself. So obviously somebody knew what they were doing when they were putting it together, and they did indeed double box it, not with a lot of peanuts, but they reinforced the original Master Replicas with a lot of like cardboard and tape to protect the corners and all that. So it was an impressive packing job. I mean, they could have done a little bit better. They could have peanut buffered the MR brown shipper and put in a little bit bigger shipper. I mean, it wouldn't have killed them to do that. They could have shipped it UPS priority a little bit faster, but okay. you know, they got it in one piece, well protected. And I have to say that in terms of their description of near mint slash mint, I would say that it was pretty accurate. The acrylic case was like very dirty, with a lot of streaks and stuff, but no crack, no damage. The mirror base had a lot of very fine little scratches, but not unacceptable, very light. And obviously, for a collectible that's essentially almost 20 years old, you're going to find it's very difficult to get perfect mirror bases. That really isn't a thing. So that was reasonable. And again, to be honest, the lightsaber itself, I would say, yeah, A-/B+. It is a near mint Mace Windu signature. And I'll show you some of the deficiencies later, but they're just like super nitpicky. And overall, I'm just like really, really thrilled with it. And considering the fact that it got everything, definitely in my mind, the price $3,300, including shipping from New York, I think is a very, very good price compared to when you think about how much this has gone for. So that's like the preamble, like the agony of actually getting this, because there's so many things that could go wrong, right? Like the mirror base could be cracked, the acrylic could be damaged, the lightsaber could have scratches and defects that just don't show up in pictures. There's so many things that could go wrong, and to have kind of sidestepped almost all of them was just like a huge, huge relief. So when you get this lightsaber, there's a lot of things you have to do. So before I even did this review, I did a lot of research on the rebelscum.com forums. I read about how to care for the acrylic, how to take care of the mirror base. I read about Renaissance wax. I read about Malm's ultra polish and glaze. I read about all this stuff. I got the microfiber. I bought the microfiber cloth. I got the different towels. I mean, everything was set up. And so before I put it together, I took the acrylic and I used the Brilliance acrylic cleaner. That gorgeous. Like you just wipe it and it just looks amazing. Like this thing looked so bad before I wiped it, and with that Brilliance, it's amazing. I'm gonna use it for all of my to touch up all of my display cases for my MR stuff. So I did that. I polished the mirror, which was again like amazing. Like the scratch is way less noticeable. You'll see all of this once I open things up. But definitely this acrylic display case looks so much better than it did when I first got it. And so I've been giving you the story. I'm just sort of turning it around. So hopefully you can really, really get to see how beautiful this lightsaber is. So here you go. So therefore, definitely did a lot of work. And then, I tried to work on the actual lightsaber itself. There's a couple areas, especially on the gold plate right over here, that looks like it has some like little smudges. Like it's not a scratch, and it probably just might be age or maybe some handling. But there's like these little areas where it just looks like there's little tiny smudges. And I just took a microfiber cloth, like a very, very like fine polishing version. Like this is supposedly like microfiber, but even though it is from Amazon, it looks just like a soft cloth towel. But I'm talking about this stuff here, which is true like premium microfiber cloth. And I actually just made that wet, and I just kind of gently, in a circular motion, rubbed in this area. And I like to think that I did get some of that smudge off, and I cleaned it pretty nicely. This is all gold plating. It's 18 karat gold plate. And technically, from my research, you're supposed to be able to use a little bit of that MALM, M-A-L-M, the MALM polishing liquid, and put on a microfiber. And if you do that, it's supposed to really do a good job on this. But to be honest, I was just kind of scared to do it. I mean, I know that it should be okay, but I didn't want to just mess up that gold plate at all. And it looks good enough, at least in my opinion, that I'm just very hesitant to take the extra step to do it. I mean, you would have to literally take your glasses off and look at it from like less than an inch away, okay, in order for you to be able to see some of the stuff I'm talking about. And I just didn't feel like the risk was worth it. to do that. I might post maybe on the Rebel Scum, ask around, but that, ultra polish is very fine, and it is made to like polish like automotive paint, like automotive finishes, and by all accounts there should be absolutely no danger in using that and on a microfiber and polishing like the entire chrome and gold part of this lightsaber. Should be zero problems, and it might make it look even way better. But again, I'm too timid to do that for something like this. So I did the best I could. I got this all done in a way that I feel comfortable, and so now I'm going to give the review at this point, right? So that's like the entire saga for me, thinking about getting it, trying to get it, luckily actually somehow winning an auction. I haven't won an eBay auction, like won a legit auction bidding. I'm not kidding, in like a decade, because there's always like something going on, like there's always some games, people play games, some show bidding. I almost always get outbid, or I do like buy it now and all that stuff. So it's amazing that I actually got that. So from getting that, and then again, sort of just the agony of having to wait for it to come, and then holding my breath so that it didn't actually come broken, especially with like Alex L's YouTube video in the back of my mind where he had that broken acrylic case. I was just like, I did not want that to happen. So many things again can go wrong. Even like the acrylic legs could be snapped off and stuff. So none of that happening. Really, really happy about that. So now let's get to the review. Now, before I get to the review, I'm gonna move this back a little bit, and then we're gonna start with the paperwork. So when I got this was actually sealed. So I thought, for a second that maybe like this had never even been opened, which would have been kind of insane. And you can see that I took it apart so carefully that I didn't rip this. Like a lot of these envelopes just ripped in half. I actually took a razor blade and just slowly cut through the adhesive. So we'll start with the paperwork. And I can tell you why it was actually opened, because you see, this actually is where the signature plaque was placed, and that signature plaque is actually put into the same envelope as the certificate of authenticity. So it must have been opened initially, and then the signature plaque removed and then put on the little display, the little, I don't even know what you call it, like the little display holder. It must have done that. So that's pretty insane that the person who originally got it also removed and opened this envelope so carefully that the seal was essentially intact. So in the case, this is the bag where the signature plaque was placed. This is old school Master Replicas envelope. This was released in 2003. Okay, how do I know that? Well, you'll find out soon enough. It's not too difficult. And so I think the older ones are like, has the actual envelope with the, with the seal. The newer ones made, I think, in 2005 and higher or later, came in sort of the black envelope. I don't know how to feel about that. I think I like this a little bit better because the black one doesn't have a seal. You just sort of have to like, it kind of folds open. It's not like a real envelope, and it's in black, right? So for those of you who watch my Vader comparison, you will see that envelope that I got for the certificate of authenticity for the Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith Vader lightsaber. So then you can see here the what is it? This is the registration card, right? That they all have, and then this is the warranty, which is fine. This Mace Windu did not come with a pamphlet or brochure of other products. I think those came with the earliest ones. That was done back in 2003. So 2002, 2003. And then, of course, this is the actual certificate of authenticity, as all of them have this sort of paper. Like, I've heard it said that this is to protect the photo, but that can't really be right, because when you close it like this, and the photo is actually against this thing. So I actually think that this paper is to protect the signature here, and the actual seal, the Master Replicas Certified Prop Replica seal, is to protect that versus the actual picture. But as you can see, this is a very nice picture of Samuel L. Jackson signing it. So that's pretty awesome. You can see the lightsaber down here. And then over here, I will just focus here for you so you can at your leisure read about the information. So we'll start here, and then you can read for yourself the info about this lightsaber. And I'll take this out briefly, and you can sort of read for yourself here the information. This is the same thing. And again, you know, for these older master replicas, certificates of authenticity was just really, really classy because they had the, you know, the signature of both guys, both, you know, Howard Rothman, the president of Lucas Licensing, as well as Scott Vogel, the chief executive officer, master replicas, and they both had their, you know, their signatures on there. And then later certificates, they didn't have this seal and they didn't have these signatures, you know. I mean, for God's sakes, for the Star Wars New Hope Luke signature edition lightsaber, they didn't even include, you know, the picture, you know, and they had, you know, because of the outcry, they had to later on send it as a separate thing. So, you know, Master Replicas as a company has had their share of definitely ups and downs and missteps and all that stuff. So, but still, you know, this is like a really, really nice, classy certificate of authenticity. And this is what was missing from, you know, the UK sellers, you know, version, you know, his signature edition. And I mean, that costs a lot because that's kind of a big deal that you don't have that. And so I still feel like I'm, you know, extremely fortunate that I managed to essentially get a complete in-box version of this for the same price that I was going to pay him without even original, you know, without original box and without the certificate. But that's how rare, you know, these Mace Windu signature edition lightsabers are. Like, they're very, very rare. You know, who knows how many truly perfect sets there are out there, right? Hey, everybody. Well, that was an unexpected cut. I apologize. Believe it or not, actually, in the middle of my recording this thing, I got cut off because I ran out of memory for my phone. I had to delete some really, really old, long videos. I guess I'm kind of dumb in the sense that I didn't know this, but when you delete a video from your phone, it doesn't automatically permanently delete. It's still stored in a like recently deleted folder. And that, I think, is permanently deleted as time passes. But I think it still takes up memory in the phone because you could technically like recover that. And so I think over, you know, all these video reviews I've done, long, huge ones were like hour-long, 45-minute long videos of these lightsabers, it finally reaches capacity. So sorry for that abrupt cut, but we're back in action. It actually cut in a pretty reasonable way. I was mid-sentence, but it cut right after I finished, you know, doing the certificate of authenticity. So at this point, we can take a look now at this lightsaber. So this is the way it's supposed to be displayed. This was also something that, you know, wasn't done correctly. I think in the other YouTube video by Alex L, he had it reversed. So this is how you're supposed to put it on the acrylic, right? The belt knob right in front of the left leg, and you can line up the black grip on either side here. Okay, so now that's perfectly level. You have the signature plaque right in front of you, and that's what it looks like. It looks absolutely gorgeous in its case. You can see the mirror sheen on the acrylic. Just excellent, excellent, you know, excellent quality. Really, really like it. So I'm going to showcase that. So you can see here, right? These little imperfections. You know, the dust will still get on it. These acrylics are like dust magnets, and the brilliance helps with that. It helps, you know, keep some of the dust off. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take the acrylic case off now, and we're gonna gently put it aside. Let's see where we're gonna do that. I'll put it right here. And then I'm going to put the black background, you're going to be able to see this lightsaber a lot better. Hopefully with that black background in place. Right over here. We're going to turn it. So hopefully you can really get an idea of what's going on here. So here's the plaque. Let me just take this off. So like all of them, this comes like brushed aluminum, and then you basically just glue it, or you tape it on here, right, to this plaque. Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu lightsaber. You have the Lucasfilm logo, Master Replicas logo. Here's Samuel L. Jackson's signature, and it is a signature edition 54 out of 750. Now, you can see that he did sign his name a little bit out of the white, which, I guess to some collectors, this is sort of a big deal or whatever, but for me, I don't really care about that. It's, reasonably in the white space, good enough. I guess in some signatures, he would keep it more in there, but it's random, and he would just sign all over the place, and that's fine. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson is a long name, and he wants to sign comfortably. He has to sign 750 of these guys. So, this is just part of, the personality of Samuel L. Jackson. I'm completely fine with it. So I'm not going to nitpick about, what the signature looks like and all of that. I'm just happy to get one. 54, 750, I don't care about the number either. These are all random. But, it's a nice little number as far as that goes. So we're going to put this aside. But, by the way, it's meant to be put right over here in the middle, because the way they put the legs, the acrylic legs are farther enough back that it's to make room for this. Okay, so we will put that aside. And now here is the lightsaber without the acrylic, but with the black background to really sort of, highlight it. And you can see the mirror base over here. I'm going to just throw it around very, very slowly. I'm going to try to move this thing back a little bit so it doesn't hit it. And then you can see it a little bit better. So here you go. I'm trying to go nice and slow, so you can see it from all different angles. I mean, part of these video reviews is me blabbing, but the other part is hopefully for you to also get to really, really see how amazing, how beautiful this piece is from all the different angles. So you can see the base, the legs, and just kind of watch the light as it goes up and down this piece. So as you can see from a display point of view, this is absolutely breathtaking. So I guess this is as good a time as any to start talking about the lore of this lightsaber, which I think is pretty cool. But so Mace Windu, is the head of the Jedi Council, right? And he's like almost co-equal with Yoda in being a leader of the Jedi. Yoda, of course, is the Grand Master of the Jedi, the only living Grand Master at that time. And he's sort of like the spiritual leader of all the Jedi, right? But Mace was very, very respected as well. Basically 1B to Yoda's 1A, and so he was the head of the Jedi Council. And this is like a purple lightsaber, and it's one befitting a Jedi Master of his stature. So if you look at, this saber, you have the hilt, and then you'll see, areas of gold. So there's gold here, 1, 2, and then 3, and then there's 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 gold-plated areas on this lightsaber. And those gold areas in the lore of Star Wars are basically Electrum, and Electrum typically are only allowed to be added as accent pieces to the lightsabers of Jedi Masters. And supposedly there is like some sort of significance like to each piece of Electrum, plated addition to the saber or whatnot. And so for Mace Windu to have like 8 pieces, is pretty telling, right? In terms of what it means for his rank and his importance in the Jedi. So yeah, this is supposed to be Electrum. Another thing about the reason why his lightsaber is purple, I guess, is that he practices a type of lightsaber dueling style, Form 7, called Vapad, Vaapad. He was one of the principal architects or inventors of this form, and it was his way of using his weakness as a strength. And I guess his weakness is that he's always very close to the dark side in terms of his aggression. Some of his issues with, I guess, anger or whatever you want to call it, his aggression, his attacking style. And I guess Vapad is a form that can actually channel the dark side that is being used against you, and then reflecting it back upon the user. And so the stronger the Sith, or the stronger the dark side, the more powerful your return, right? The more powerful your combat. But of course, what that means is that in order to use it, you stray perilously close to the dark side yourself. And that's sort of, again, the danger of Vapad. In fact, the other Jedi who created it with Mace Windu did fall to the dark side. So that's sort of the lore, behind this lightsaber. Mace Windu actually was one of the greatest, duelists in the Old Republic. He's considered co-equal, almost, with Yoda. If you want to know the ranking, apparently Yoda is the best, and followed by probably Dooku, Count Dooku, and then Mace. And Dooku and Mace are sort of like, again, 1A, 1B in terms of, or in this case, 2A, 2B, if Yoda's number 1. It's like 2A, 2B, right? In terms of who would be better. On what day it would be, who uses the Force more. So those are 2 of the best lightsaber duelists in the canon, right? And so Windu was able to actually, depending on how you read the events of Revenge of the Sith, he was actually able to defeat, Darth Sidious, right? Emperor Palpatine. He actually disarmed him in combat, and then was turning the Force lightning against the Emperor. That's why he's so disfigured before Anakin came. And then actually interfered. He actually chopped off Mace Windu's sword hand. The lightsaber fell out, and then the Emperor, Force lightning him, Mace, out of the window. So, in lore, who knows where this lightsaber is? It could still be out there somewhere, because it fell out of the window and was maybe never recovered. So I've just been sort of turning it around. Hopefully, as I slowly turn it around, you can appreciate, the beauty of this thing without the acrylic case. Pretty awesome. And now I'm going to push this back, and we're going to, here, one more time. Let me just get into the right orientation. We're gonna push it back, and then we're going to actually take the lightsaber off of the legs. So here we go. Now, the first thing is, again, unfortunately, you can't tell, but it is like insanely heavy. I was just sort of, brushing up and sort of upkeeping my Star Wars Episode 4 Darth Vader limited edition lightsaber, and that thing honestly feels like a plastic toy compared to this. This is like the heaviest by far the heaviest lightsaber I've handled so far. It's super, super heavy. And so here you can see wanted to get a little bit closer so you can definitely see all the detail. I did the best I could to polish it really nicely. So one of the things that you're going to see is that, again, it's the curse of the rubber grips. This was from, by the way, Steve Dimzo himself, who just went on record saying, yeah, the original props didn't have these rubber coats, and this company at the time they were making it, talked to Steve and told him about it, and he thought it was really cool, and he okayed it, and he didn't know that all of this crap was going to, dissolve and essentially regress. And it's like a huge headache for master replicas collectors because, over time, almost all of these essentially is going to fall apart, even if you have it under temperature, humidity controlled situations. This is like almost a 20-year-old lightsaber. And so because this grip over time, the rubber coating is slowly moving away or, degenerating, it gets a little bit sticky. And so it's just like awful dust magnets. If you look really close, you're gonna see little specks of dust here and there. Really, really difficult to get out, I don't even know technically how to do it myself. I was trying to wipe it with a microfiber cloth, but that doesn't really work. I'm just trying to use my glove to just touch the dust. I think I've heard that alcohol wipes could do it, but I'm afraid of putting alcohol on these grips because I'm afraid that the alcohol will damage the rubber even more. And then once you go down that path, you have no choice but to continue. So I'm just trying to do the best I can to sort of gently touch and get rid of the dust that way. So let's start here. So you can see the really interesting sort of rubber banding and pattern of the replica. Here is the end of it, right over here. So the other signature edition lightsabers I've shown you have the signature edition stamped here, but as you can see, this is too small to actually be able to do that. So I'll show you where they do it later. So this is the little, I guess, knob that hangs off the Jedi's belt, right? You can take a look here at the details of that. So actually, I missed these two pieces of gold electrum, and then look again at just the gold plating here, just very, very beautiful, interspersed with the chrome. It's reflective, really, really nice. And then the aforementioned problems with the rubber and the dust there. If you turn it around, this is where they actually engrave it. So in really small lettering, I'm gonna hold on here. You can see this is 2003. So here you go. It's so reflective. In order for you to see it, you almost have to read it like this, but here it goes. It's 2003, Lucasfilm, Ltd, 2003, Master Replicas, LLC, Signature Edition. So I'm going to look at from here so you can actually see it back and forth. So this is where it's actually stamped, okay? All right, and then here you have the central gold. And then you have the plate. There's 4 of them, and then all this chrome. And on the undersurface, you have this kind of black pattern here. This is all the rubber grip right over here. And then the chrome here, and I'm going to turn it around so you can see it from this angle right here. So just beautiful. Really, really heavy. Now I'm going to try to show you really close. I don't even think that this 1080p camera can pick it up, but I think if you look really close, you can just see that there are little tiny, they're not scratches, it's almost like dirt or abrasions in the gold. And it shows up really easily in the gold plating. So you can see here, maybe if you look here, at a certain angle, the way the light shines on it, maybe you can tell. It probably looks pretty darn good from this angle, but if you go really close, you can see that there is not. I mean, here I know it looks ridiculous. from this angle, it looks like it's perfect. I'm looking at it through the camera. So yeah, I mean, it's basically, you don't even have the ability to see it. But I swear to you, if you take your glasses off and look within like a centimeter, you can see the little tiny areas where it's, you know, maybe a little bit dirty. But anyways, you can see why I stopped after polishing it with my microfiber, like my wet microfiber cloth. This is pretty darn good to me. Okay, it looks pretty darn good. So here you go here. The final little bit of lore when it comes to this replica is that this is, I think, you know, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only Master Replicas lightsaber where there was a difference between the limited edition and the signature edition. Typically, you know, they keep the actual lightsaber completely identical. The only difference is that the signature edition actually has signature edition engraved on it. But in terms of the materials, the heft, I mean, everything's identical. But this one, for whatever reason, is a pretty big difference. And the difference is that the gold plating on the signature edition is 18 karat gold, whereas the gold plating on the limited edition is 10 karat gold. So there is actually more gold to this lightsaber. And I don't know if all of the pieces are 18 karat gold. It kind of looks that way, honestly, but it's hard to see. But I hope, but maybe you can see it, but like on the camera, oh, here goes that. If I look at it from this angle, you can see maybe a little bit of that imperfection or a little splotch. But like supposedly, if you do this, you should be able to polish this completely out with the Mom Ultra Polish. But I'm afraid that if you do that, you know, because how does polish work? It polishes by getting rid of a little bit of that plating, right? Even on the molecular level, it does that. And I'm just reluctant to do that. I might protect it with some Renaissance wax and just really like, you know, put Renaissance wax over it so I get invisible crystalline layer to prevent tarnishing and stuff. I might do that. But I don't think I'm going to polish with the Moms. So yeah, you can see from the exact perfect angle, maybe you can see a little bit of the imperfection. It's not completely perfectly smooth. But then from other angles, it looks really, really good, okay? But anyways, if they upgraded this lightsaber to 18 karat plating and every gold you see is 18 karat plated, I mean, that's a lot, okay? It's like all of this, the 4 plates, the ring here, and then the ring here, and then the end here. I mean, that is a lot of gold. I don't know. I know that for sure under like my eyes, this gold here looks really dark. I mean, it looks like 18 karat. You know, like as the gold gets higher carat, it becomes almost like orangely, like an orange-like finish. But when you compare like the gold here and here, and maybe even here, I mean, this plate actually looks a little bit lighter colored than this. So I don't know exactly the details of the plating. And of course, I don't own a limited edition Mace Windu, but from pictures, I can clearly tell that this ring in the limited edition is way lighter. I mean, that is absolutely 10 karat gold versus 18. I mean, the difference between 10 and 18 karat gold, it's a big difference, okay? And Alex L's YouTube video, actually, you know, he's like the only guy who has both because he bought the limited edition first and he hasn't sold it yet. But he's the only guy who has both. But his video, like, quality is so poor, I couldn't really tell the difference, at least at the level of the plate. So I don't know whether this other stuff is 10 karat and they only decided to make this 18 karat or this is all 18 karat. And it's impossible for me to tell unless I have like, you know, a limited edition next to it. But, you know, maybe you'll be able to educate me. But it looks really, really awesome. And, you know, we came up with this whole thing with the Electrum and Jedi Master and rank. But obviously the real reason that we have this is because Samuel L. Jackson just really wanted a blinged out lightsaber, God bless him. And he got it. And, you know, we the fans are the the beneficiary of it, because this is like just like an amazing lightsaber to see and to hold. It's honestly like, words fail me. It's honestly so badass to see this. So there you go. But yeah, like I do feel like there is a difference in depth of color between all the other gold-plated parts and then this guy right here. So I wonder if the accent was just here. But anyways, the urban legend, myth has it that the reason there was a difference for this lightsaber over all others was that, Samuel L. Jackson wanted the signature edition to be just that little bit more special. And he apparently was willing to waive his fee for signing all these, signature plaques. He waived his fee so that the money could be used to increase the, the carat. This is what Alex L. mentioned. Man, is there a little bit of gold here? Hold on a second. Is that gold here underneath the knob? God, that may be too. That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. I think that might also be gold right over here. Look at that. Here's the Made in China sticker, which this is the one lightsaber I'll have the Made in China sticker. I'll keep it there for now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the urban myth anyways. I mean, it's definitely something I could see Samuel L. Jackson doing. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that was true, but it also sounds a little bit too, like a little bit crazy, right? A little bit too romanticized for that to happen. But, these were crazy days. I mean, they were big fans at Master Replicas, probably too big a fan. That's why their margins were so tight and they eventually went out of business. But I could see definitely Samuel L. Jackson doing that. But for whatever the case, the truth is that the signature edition does have a higher gold content for all the plating. And there you go. So yeah, definitely, like, I've been on record saying I don't like the original trilogy. And I still believe that. I've watched clips of them. I still don't like the dialogue, the direction, the story, the character arcs, all of that. But, there are good things about it, obviously. But say what you will about the story. I think that the lightsaber designs that came out of the prequel trilogy is just pretty amazing. I mean, this one, Dooku, even like, say, the Darth Sidious one, I think it could be silly in terms of the story context of these weapons, but they just look, so amazing. Like, this really does look like, the lightsaber of, like, the leader of the Jedi High Council at the height of, at the height of their powers, right? At the height of their authority and their influence. So there you have it. Mace Windu Signature Edition. Now, the way you put it on the display, the mirror base, you can do it any number of ways, of course, but I think, in my opinion, it should be placed with the plaque facing directly up. And so if you do that, in order to be level, you just kind of line up the black rubber here, the black rubber here, and this is the way it's supposed to go right here. And I'm going to rotate it to make sure it's good. So here you have it. Let's put the signature plaque in position. Give it one more little twirl. Really, really pleased with how this thing looks. And then I'm going to actually try to take it out of the case. You can actually go over here. You can actually see the mirror right over here. So we'll go this way. You can see it from the bird's eye view right here. And then, of course, you can see the phone itself on the mirror and how nice the mirror looks. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. You can already see the dust accumulating on the glass. Again, this is just insane, this dust magnet. But here you go. I don't know, maybe it's my imagination, but I'm hoping you can actually see again sort of the difference in color of the gold. You won't see the signature edition engraving that's on the undersurface. And if I go really close, you can see again a little bit of the dust specks, the annoying dust specks that are on here. Here's a chrome finish. You can see a little bit of dust here. Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna put it back into the stand. Come on, there you go. And now finally, let's get this acrylic case in position. Get this thing out. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. A good hour review, but I think this deserves it. Definitely the most expensive lightsaber I think that's out there. It's rivaled by the dual signature Vaders. Well, I guess all of the Vaders are pretty expensive. But this is right up there. I would say probably the most expensive ones are this one, all three of the signature edition Vaders from the 3 movies, from the original trilogy, and then the version 2 Luke Skywalker signature edition from Return of the Jedi. They only made 500 of those. So those are all very, very big money. Although a complete Mace may beat them all because technically that's should probably be in the $4,000 to $5,000 range. And it's being sold for $4,000. I mean, it should be in that range. And I don't know if those other ones are quite there. I think the closest might actually be the Luke Skywalker version 2 signature. That might be close to 4. And this one is above 4. So this is definitely sort of like the cream of the crop, like, you know, the tier 1 of Master Replicas lightsabers. So I feel very, very lucky to be able to share this with you. It's 1 hour long, and yeah, there's a lot of my, you know, just ramblings and stuff like that. But I hope that in the middle of all that rambling, you also have the opportunity to see this in a way that you've never seen it before, in like really, really high definition, really, really good detail, to be able to appreciate all those design elements and why it's such a beautiful, beautiful lightsaber. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. This will be the 4th Master Replicas Mace Windu Signature Edition review on YouTube. Until next time, do take care.